So now let's have a little introduction into experiments. In AI PM work, an experiment is simply running your prompt many times in a controlled way to answer a question or a hypothesis. For example, is version A or version B more reliable? How does the prompt behave across different inputs? Does a tone change introduce new failures? Is this model consistent enough to ship? However, in this case, we're not going to be testing variations yet. Right now, we're going to be running an experiment for one reason, to generate logs, because logs are what we need to annotate. In real teams, experiments can run on two types of data: production logs, which is real user behavior, and generated datasets. This is when you're early on in the development process and you don't have logs yet. We're early in the process, so our first experiment is not about comparing prompts or proving hypotheses. So in practice, what we'll do is we'll create a small dataset that simulates user inputs, run our prompt on it, and capture the outputs. Those outputs become the logs, we'll annotate, and kick off the reliability loop. As you well know, if you don't have logs, you can't annotate. If you can't annotate, you can't discover issues. And if you can't discover issues, you can't build evaluations. And finally, without evaluations, you can't iterate reliably. So later in this course, you'll run into more advanced experiments. We'll do A/B testing prompts, model comparisons, we'll do regression tests, but everything starts here with this simple experiment whose only job is to help you observe behavior. If you already have production logs, you can skip this step. If you integrate Latitude inside your product, those production logs will appear automatically. You can see our documentation for more information about how to do this. Now we're ready to run our first experiment. To do that, we're going to need a dataset. That dataset can either be artificial, one that we create ourselves by hand or by using, for example, an LLM to produce a bunch of entries, or that can come from real user data. It's always preferable to have real user data because that's the data that's most natural. However, we don't always have that. In this case, what we're going to do is we're going to use an artificial dataset. This pre-prepared dataset is going to be available in the resources section of the video. So here we're on the editor in the playground. We're going to go over here in the top left where it says projects, and we're going to go down to datasets. Now, what we need to do is upload a dataset. We're going to go over here on the right to upload dataset. Here we're going to give it a name. And then below this, we need to pick a delimiter. In this case, I provided you with a CSV file, so we're going to pick CSV. That just means that the values are separated by commas. And then here we're going to upload the CSV. So once we have the dataset uploaded, we can hit create. After you click create, you're going to see the dataset appear here. In the dataset, we have two columns. We have username and customer email. Now, as a preface, I created this dataset to be quite generic. However, I put in a couple tricky ones in there so that we could see some more edge case behavior of the prompt. Let's get a quick idea of how the dataset looks, and then we'll head over to experiments and we'll run an experiment. So here we have, how do I change my name on the ticket? That's a pretty simple one. And below that, we have a more complicated one. I was charged for VIP, but I only meant it by general admission. I haven't downloaded anything yet. Let me know what you can do. Now what we're going to do to run the experiment is head over to our projects, go back to our prompt, okay? And then once we're in the prompt section, we're going to go to experiments. And here on the top right, we're going to hit run experiment. Right now, we don't have to worry about experiment variants. We're not going to change any of this. We also don't have to worry about evaluations. This will come in later when we start running evaluations with experiments. In this case, all we have to do is go here to populate the parameters, select our dataset. Here in this case, we'll do festival dataset, include all of our lines. And then we need to make sure that the username is associated to the username variable in our prompt and that the customer query is associated to the customer email. And then down here, we're going to turn off simulate tools. So here we're going to turn off simulate tools because as part of our criteria, we want to make sure that it's adhering to the website for information regarding our policies. And then here we hit run experiment. After you hit run experiment, you'll see your logs start to come in. This is going to take a bit of time because it has to run all those tools. So we're going to give it a bit of time and we'll come back once all of them are done. So the experiment just finished up. It took 46 seconds to get through all 20 entries. So we can go over here and click C20 logs, and we can see all the logs that were created for this. And if you click on them, you'll see that these logs are quite similar to the ones we did by hand. We have the OpenAI call, we have a post, 2 extracts, and another post. All right, this is looking good. So having done this experiment, we conclude the first part of the AI reliability loop. In the next step of the AI reliability loop, we're going to go over here to annotations, and we're going to begin to annotate each of these logs we just created.